Well, we're joined today by Cashman Rooyen, Lions coach. Now looking a bit ahead towards the Curry Cup. Thought you'd be on holiday, Cash. Welcome to the pod.
Yeah, thanks, Brendan. Thanks for having me. Season not over yet, not done yet. Involved with the Curry Cup, making sure that we get good alignment, and obviously because of our system, we backing from within. So there's a nice bunch of young crops coming through. So making sure that we get off to a good start.
Before we go into the URC, so looking back at that, just talk about the Curry Cup. How frustrating has it been for you guys from a coaching point of view, just to have to obviously prepare, not knowing what the competition is, having to give those players 8 weeks off, sort of while you still playing in another competition? I mean, it's not the ideal situation for any coach.
Yeah, I think that the timing of it makes it difficult. I think one can agree that you got to manage the players and they can't play continuous. So I think that the fight around the rest is worthwhile. I do think that the resolution of us managing it in conjunction with all the relevant parties is good. For us, for us, it is we've got a group that hasn't really played that much. So we're desperate to get them playing in the Curry Cup. We're desperate for them to get playing, just to train and play the odd 40, 50, 60, 80 minutes. It's not great for development either. So we were confident that the Curry Cup would happen. Like I said, the timing of it could have changed, but yeah, we're prepping, and we have prepped the last 2, 3 weeks for it to happen for us the 5th of July, and thankfully it does.
Yeah, I think we all wish a global season. I think we've spoken about that a lot on this podcast as well. But I mean, it's a strange thing for you as a coach because on the one hand, you've got players who are playing almost too much in the URC. You've got to manage their game time, obviously in that competition. But then it comes to the backup players, and I know you have to rotate squads, but and you try to do that during the season, but with the pressures of winning and all those sort of things, you often don't get to play as many players, and there's no backup competition. So at the moment, I mean, if you sort of on those fringes, those players on the fringe, they don't get enough game time, and especially if you're a youngster coming through, there's not that much game time if you over the age of 21 and you're not playing in a age level competition.
Yeah, I think that's the challenge we have to balance all of that with getting experience, because like you've mentioned, there isn't, if I can refer to the old times, there isn't a Vodacom Cup or different competitions for that to happen. So we've got a couple of players over 1,000 minutes, and we've got a couple of players under 200 minutes, and when like you've mentioned, because of our model, that players tend to be between 20 and 24 years old, where if you refer back to the late 90s and early 2000s, even if you were contracted, you played Lions under 19, Lions under 21, 2 seasons, probably a bit of club rugby in between, probably Vodacom Cup if you were good enough. So you probably, in that first 4 years of becoming professional, you probably played about 50 rugby games. Where if you look at the current system, and the challenge would be, I think there's under 22 and under 23 players that probably haven't played 15 games in 3 years. So closing that gap and that void as quick as possible with getting experience, but also, like you say, we're in the business of winning. So I think that's the balance.
And okay, let's get up to the URC season then. In looking at the URC season now, maybe if you have to look back now, how would you describe it before I start peppering you with questions? How would you say the season? Would you consider it a success? Would you feel that fact that you missed out the playoffs is not a success? Where do you see it?
Yeah. I think we were pretty up and open about it, that we wanted to reach the top eight. That was a goal from the boardroom to the backroom staff to all the players. Missing it out with 1 point or one win, whatever you want to call it. We were the same points as Ospreys. They had one more win. Then you go to small margins. Away at Loftus, I felt we were good enough. Maybe 1 or 2 decisions plus 1 or 2 decisions from our side, execution wise. Even the last game, Stormers, I felt we were in the game again. 1 or 2 decisions from our side in terms of system, plus I don't want to say official, but let's call it 1 or 2 decisions. Then Uh, I think we've been outplayed in two games. I think in my opinion, Bulls at home, uh, they were better than us, and probably Munster at home for us as well. So I think all the other games, 14 bonus points, 6 losing bonus points. So we almost there. Consistency definitely is better, but a lot of good lessons from those two games. After the Bulls game, we really had a honest review that Monday around way of play, mindset. Where are we? What are we? What is our DNA? What's our point of difference? And thankfully, they changed a bit in the last 6 games.
Yeah, I think, I mean, you talk about consistency. That's a word that's been bandied about the whole season, and you've heard it a lot, and I'm sure you're probably tired of hearing it, but that has probably been the one failing of the team is that backing up some of those big performances. I'm just thinking of the one week in particular, the Connacht week, where you guys won with 14 men. Incredible performance, probably close to your performance of the season, other that and the other 14-man performance against Glasgow. But the week after that almost fell flat again, and it felt like same thing there at Loftus. Good game at Loftus. Came back for the return game, and obviously not your guys' best game by a country mile, but just keeping those sort of standards up. And is there any reason for it? Have you pinpointed? I know it's probably something you guys rack your brains about quite a bit.
Yeah, if I can get a little bit specific around it, I think the Connacht performance, we probably didn't realize how much it took out of the guys, physically.
Mhm.
And in review, I probably could have rotated the squad a little bit for the next weekend. I felt we were really flat that first 40 minutes. Then obviously 1 or 2 words halftime plus actions from our side, and we were a lot better that second half. But I think I'll stick my hand up for that one definitely. If I go to the Bulls, I think it was almost, and that's part of the discussion we had that Monday. It's almost that fear of disappointment after coming so close at Loftus, that fear of pressure and what if and what if not. And I think we broke the shackles a little bit after that Bulls performance. It felt nervous, it felt hesitant, it felt not 110% with intensity, not intent. The intent was there, but that punch and intensity. And credit to the Bulls. I think we gave them a big enough scare to really put up their 1% difference from their side as well. If you go to the Munster game, for instance, I don't think there was a drop of performance. I just felt that they were tactically really good against us, and they hindered us from getting to our strengths.
I suppose one of the criticisms that could be leveled against your team, is the fact that a lot of times you punch above the weight if you consider and just in terms of player budgets, and where you guys don't, obviously they have some of the same player budgets as some of the franchises in South Africa, like the Sharks, for instance. That's just a fact. But is there that ambition though? Because it seems at times from the outside, and I say that's why I'm putting the question, is because from the outside it seems almost as if the Lions through their contracting and etc., are almost content to be that side on the fringes, not the Leinster, if I can put it that way.
I think that's an ironic comparison, the Leinster one. I think what Leinster is doing currently really well is they're probably buying in 2 or 3 guys that they feel will make a world-class difference from them. But I think the strength of their system is 99% of that comes from within. Yes, our model is slightly different. We currently not going to buy 5 superstars or 6 superstars. Part of the, call it inconsistency or game management that's developing from us is we ended off the season with a 22-year-old 5 lock. Frank is experienced now, but he's also still something like 25. Sanele Krapi, 24, 5, 6. Kieran Horn, 22, 23. Jordan, 22, 23. So because we're young, we probably can look like we're a little bit inconsistent, and game management is one of the areas that we're developing and growing. But we also believe, and I don't want to compare to the previous generation, but I think it is fair. The model back then was back from within. and that system provided 16 Springboks, where some of them are double World Cup winners like Malcolm and Kwacha and Sous and Faf and all of them. So I don't want to say we want to replicate that, but we realized in COVID that to stay head above water, to be honest, we have to almost start within, pick young to hopefully 2-3 seasons later have where we feel we currently 60% of the group is between 23 and 26, and they've got between 40 and 60 URC caps. So it's time for us to jump on the mattress and really go forward next year. Because when you have 50% of your group at 50 plus caps, then inexperience can't be the excuse. Yes, they are still relatively young. Just if you take the Bulls currently, which is obviously the number one team in South Africa by shield winners and log position. Veli Leroux is a Springbok 15. Johan Goosen is a Springbok 10. Also loads of experience. Ambrose is a Springbok. Cameron Onnekom had a great season, but between him and Pilo, great young players coming through. They'll probably both be Springboks within the next year, I would think. Ronald Keir is a Springbok. Akker van der Merwe is a Springbok. So I think span-wise, yes, someone like the Bulls is definitely more experienced, but hopefully that's where we can be within the next 2 years.
Yeah, saying that, I mean, what I meant by the model as well, I mean, the Sharks obviously looking for Galacticos and they go buy big names and big budget players. The Bulls have sort of done it a bit differently. They've sort of tried to bring through a couple of youngsters, obviously very talented youngsters, while also buying up experience, older experienced players to come back. Whereas you guys, I mean, you've stuck with that junior group that did so well in the under 21s and under 20s or under 21s that won that competition, and those guys are coming through, and you've been rewarded with guys like Kieran and going through to Henko being a SAA selection, guys like that coming through. But that's what I meant by the model. Is that the model going forward? Are you going to carry on sort of trying to develop from within? Because obviously we've seen some other big purchases from sides across South Africa, but we haven't heard much from the Lions in terms of recruitment for the coming season.
Yeah, currently that is still our model. There's again and well done to Mzwaki and Vessel and everyone involved in the junior system. I think consistency in our junior system is probably the best in South Africa. And again, it's the ability to develop, the ability to coach. So well done to that system. We've got again about 7 really exciting under 21s coming through into our URC squad for next year. All 7 of them should be part of the Currie Cup system. Plus, after the first round, they're top of the log. So because of our successful junior system, we tend to look more there, to develop, to get caps. I'm not saying by that, Brendan, we're not in the market for 1 or 2 guys that we really feel can make a difference. Obviously, something like on-field ability plus off-field influence plus price do play a role there.
Yeah, and I know, look, I mean, the market is there. Obviously, people around there, not just the European market that's got big money, but there are obviously players in South Africa like the Sharks who go and snap up these players. Which brings me, I suppose, to the question of it's all good and well having these players there, but I mean, you've lost Jordan or you're losing Jordan. Whether I'm not sure if you can maybe just fill us in what's happening there. You're losing Manu as well to the Sharks, and as these guys develop, I'm sure a bunch of these big players are going to come hunting for these players as well. Are you going to be able to keep them?
Let me say this, and it's not a dig against the Sharks. I mean, I get along well with that system. I don't think we should lose players to other local franchises. That's speaking to us. The ability to keep them is important. The willingness to keep them is important. We were in the race, in the fight with that. Unfortunately for us, the decision was for them. Yes, we have to keep them. I mean, you can't just develop and lose the whole time, because then you start over. And I think that was part of the initial decision to say, okay, here's a group. Let's see how many of them we can retain, we can sign. Let's get going with them, and hopefully 3 or 4 years from that decision, we can bear the fruits.
I was on mute there for a second. Just on that, just maybe Jordan. Let's just clarify that. What's the situation there? Because he wasn't among that group of players that you guys said goodbye to the other day. I was told his contract ends in December. The Sharks believe he's coming there on the 1st of July. I don't know what you can talk to. I know you don't handle the contracting as such as coach, but maybe you can just tell us what the clarity is there.
There is talks happening in the background. That's all I can say now. So it's yeah, it's in that transition period where there's negotiations, there's ifs and buts. So that's what I can say.
And just to replace, if he does go and Manu's obviously gone, have you got replacements lined up? I know you said the juniors, and then plus on I suppose the other question comes. I mean, we had a chat last week with Jake just after a press conference, and they obviously letting a lot of their juniors go. A couple of SA under 20 players there, SA schools players. Are you guys in the market for those type of players as well?
Yes, we are. It hasn't been officially announced who we signed on, but again, it's not. I mean, I'll say this here: it's not 10 or 15 new guys. We did get one of the loose forwards from the Bull system. There's a loose forward from the Cheetah system, so that's the two forwards, two loose forwards. We are signing a additional outside back plus additional playmaker. But again, saying that losing Jordan, which I think the second part of the season was unbelievable for us because of the ability to play 12 or 10. I think the whole world have seen the excitement of a possible Sanele at 10. So that's something that we can always revert back to. But I also believe it's time for Giovanni Lombard and Kate Voliter to really come through. Unfortunately, both of them has been sidelines for about 2 years with ACL knee injuries. Both is training without constraints. Both is getting a lot better in terms of sharpness and readiness. So I think this Currie Cup is going to be big for both of them.
And just on that, I mean, with the limitations you guys have in terms of player budgets and that, are you seeing the market, should I say, is maybe getting a bit better in terms of we spoke to Franz Stein about this, and he was quite keen to have younger players go play elsewhere and come back to the Cheetahs at later stage and do those sort of agreements with unions. Are you seeing that willingness a bit more than we in the past? I mean, when you think back a couple of years, I mean, that Lions team you were talking about was built on a lot of the ex-Bulls players that couldn't stay there and eventually got fed up and left and went across the XK. But there was always this sort of hindrance of rather let a guy train the whole time and not play, then let him go somewhere else and play. Are you seeing that changing a bit now?
Probably. I think there's a couple of keys around it. I think a consistent schedule in terms of tournaments will be important for that to happen. If let's say the SA Cup is a consistent thing with timings and the First Division Currie Cup is consistent with timings, then I do feel there is opportunity to let some of the guys that don't have all that minutes probably go get some minutes and play and keep on developing and keep on assisting within South Africa, because I do believe that all competitions played should be as competitive as possible. So if I think back again to that, someone like Faf de Klerk was under 19, 20, 21 by us. He went and played 2 or 3 seasons at the Pumas, drafted him back into the Super Rugby squad after a year or 2, then went back to play Currie Cup there, and then we signed him, and today he's Faf de Klerk that the whole world knows. So yes, I believe that's one model, and again, then back to our model is the identification and accurate identification. I would say that the areas we feel we do need is who is the best under 20, 21, 22 player available. If we need a lock, or we need a 10. So because we don't always buy at the top shelf, who is the Franco Mostert that can come through, who is Kwagga was on our system, so that's different. But Rooyen, for instance, moved to us also early. So part of that process from our side is use the top senior juniors, if I can call it like that, to assist the system.
I'll start closing off now because I don't want to keep you too long. You've obviously got stuff to do. But just in terms of next season, what is there that you need to get you over that hump for the top eight? What do you think, other than the players obviously maturing a bit more, what would be necessary?
Yeah, I think playing style has to evolve as well. Whether it's the attacking system or the defensive system. I think if you just, I mean, we've changed the way we've played subtly throughout the season, and I think it was quite evident the last block, the last six to eight games. For that to happen, we had to change defensively also a little bit. So playing styles probably got evolved a little bit. I think we were significantly better on tour and away from home in playing style. I think we managed to adapt a lot quicker than the year before, even though we got some decent results the year before. And yeah, if you look at our current URC fixtures, I think out of the first 10 games, 8's away from home. So we have to approach that a little bit different, go into the URC competition probably with a broader squad that has played a bit more, speaking to guys playing Currie Cup as well. So yeah, potentially we'll start URC and the first 8 games with guys that's probably played 5 or 6 games to get running into that start.
And then obviously just the goals for next season. Top eight, I take it as a given that it has to be a goal next season. And in the Challenge Cup, you've seen what the Sharks have done there as well. Just your goals for those two competitions?
Yeah, obviously top eight would be a massive thing for us. And I think last year and this year showed it, and the Stormers in year one. If you have a home playoff game, the road seems to be a lot easier and a lot more feasible. So whether it's URC or EPCR, see if you can get a home semi-final, EPCR was a home round of 16, home quarterfinal, home semi-final, and then obviously we know the final is away. And URC, if you can get a home quarterfinal, home semi-final, I think anything's possible from there.
Okay, now thanks for your time and good luck for the Currie Cup. Hopefully, if you guys have a good season, I think there's a lot of people out there wanting the Lions to succeed. So good luck for that. And yeah, it's been a tough year and a long time. I'm sure somewhere you're going to get some rest. Are you going to take at least? I know you with the Currie Cup now as well, but are you going to get a weekend away at least somewhere?
Yeah, to be honest, I will probably get a week. So I'm looking forward to that. I'll wait for the school holidays and then I'll take the family just before Currie Cup starts. Probably go a week. They're in the safe hands of Mzwaki and everyone, so not to worry about that too much. So no, I'll get a week. Looking forward to that, and then it's full steam ahead again.
The last question, just from us. The podcast is called To the Last Drop for a reason. We also, Liam and I, obviously enjoy opening a bottle of red wine every now and again, or whatever. I was just asking you, when you have those moments where you want to celebrate or you want to sort of unwind a bit, what is your poison?
I probably shouldn't say this out loud too much, but my good friends know whatever you're going to chuck in my glass, I'll probably have a go at it. So I don't mind. For me, it's the friendship around it, the moments around it. Absolutely love a good braai with friends or family. If we do talk wine, don't mind a good blend. Enjoy a Malbec. So no, for me, it's not necessarily the drink or the quality of the drink, but the situation around it. I'm really fond of good family time, of good time with friends. For me, that's how I find my balance. That's how I find my peace. So really enjoy good times with good people.
No, great. Evan, thanks for the time. And yeah, as I say, enjoy that week off and that time away. And yeah, we'll speak to you guys soon. I'm sure the new season's only like a month or two away. So we're going to probably see you guys pretty soon again. So
Can't wait to see you again. Thanks, Brendan. Appreciate
cool.
it.
Cheers. Thanks, Evan.
Cheers.
Thanks a lot, man.